Hi, I'm Maureen McCluskey, visiting instructor with the Department of English at the University of North Florida. I'm very excited to speak to you today about musical theater. So, when choosing a musical theater piece, find a song that suits your range, work with your voice teacher or your vocal coach, and get all of those elements solid and in place. While you are doing that, work on memorizing the piece as a whole. Once you have the piece memorized, you're going to want to step forward into the journeys that this character is taking. So each character goes on a journey through song. So this journey is something that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And along the way, there's just many twists and turns that can occur for these characters, some of which characters have foreseen, and some which are total surprises. So this unpredictability can be determined by your interpretation of the song, by the actual music and lyrics, and then also your own instincts as a performer. So almost every musical theater song has a treasure map inside, waiting to be discovered and unfolded and followed. So just remember this journey, not all journeys characters take result in forward progress. Some, despite the character's best efforts, they don't get where they're heading, but it's still just this interesting place to be. Sometimes you get detoured, and so you'll notice that songs generally hit one of four journeys. The winning journey. So this character sets out to achieve a goal and eventually is successful doing so. The losing journey. So this character is maybe trying to get to a specific place, but is unsuccessful. A serendipitous journey. So this character begins out with this intention of going somewhere, but they end up somewhere very unexpected. So for example, I'm Not Afraid of Anything from Songs from a New World. Right? So this character goes on this journey and discovers something completely different. And then the last is sort of a spiral journey. So this character maybe is trying to figure out a problem and then, explores all these different aspects of it, and it kind of ends up that they can't maybe solve it just yet. So that's definitely, but they've gained this kind of deeper knowledge or some kind of important insights. So it seems like a spiral, just, three-dimensionally, if you were thinking of it, of the journey. Henry Higgins sings about it. He sings "Why Can't the English," in My Fair Lady, for example. So he's just kind of mulling to himself and discovering and thinking yeah. So for each of these four journeys, these characters are trying to get to these desired destinations, and this actor, the performer, is just looking for this interesting terrain to travel through in performance. So when you're mapping this trip, some key questions. You're going to want to know what is the character's circumstance at the outset. So at the beginning of the song, what is the character's circumstances? Be specific. Time, the who, where, what. Where does this character think they're going? What do they want? What do they expect to find? What impulse is propelling them on this journey? What important encounters does this character experience during this trip? So what discoveries do they make? What obstacles appear? Where does the character end up? Is this where they wanted to go? So identify these kinds of journeys by asking these very specific questions. And then you're going to want to think, are they on a winning path? Are they on kind of a losing path? Is it more of a path to self-discovery? Or is there going to be this like a serendipitous thing that occurs? Always think in terms of objectives. So what is the character doing? What is the story event? What are they doing it to? What's the relationship? What do they want? That's the objective. If they got what they wanted, what would that look like? What is the ideal outcome for this character? And then we take this journey of this song in order to do what? That's the true objective. So always have that objective in mind. So for example, in Defying Gravity, from Wicked. Elphaba is determined. She has objectives. She has goals for how she wants to see things happening in Oz, correct? So step forward into those objectives. So you're going to want to, there's not a specific formula. It's more of what you choose to do. But something that is very standard, and I would say is a good way to start, is to go through the lyrics and then put in a different column, like what's happening, what's actually occurring. What's the objective or discovery that's happening in this section? And what's the ideal outcome? So for example, I dreamed a dream from Les Miserables. Fantine is going through, there was a time that, so you're going to chunk out this dialogue, right? This lyric. There was a time when men were kind, when their voices were soft and their words inviting. There was a time when love was blind, and the world was a song and the song was exciting. There was a time. That's definitely one kind of chunk, right? So what's happening here? Fantine is reviewing her past. She's thinking, how did my hope begin? What? Just going back. So the objective, the discovery here is Fantine is seeking to identify the origin and the nature of her hope. And the ideal outcome would be that Fantine will know this, when she's connected again with her younger self and processed. And you know what? She achieves that goal. Then you go through the song in its entirety like that, right? So you always start this process. And again, those categories are lyric, what's happening, the objective and discovery, and the ideal outcome. Sometimes you don't have ideal outcomes. Like sometimes it's just about understanding. So, some lines, but typically there's characters have ideal outcomes. So you're going to want to always start by choosing an overall song objective. Note who your characters are addressing. Be very specific. Be very clear about this relationship. Everything depends on it. We react when something is addressed towards us. That is the reaction. That is what is propelling this action. And then you're going to want to use this breakdown that I just gave you for the song. And then another exercise that after you've kind of broken this all down is to try just the song, to speak it kind of as a monologue, because you'll discover a lot of interesting, don't sing it, you're just going to discover a lot of interesting maybe nuance when you just pop it to a different type of modality, and then pop it right back into song, just as an exercise. One other thing mentioning from the Warner Lachlan technique, Warner is a coach in LA. She is very much she connects verbs to actions, and you can always kind of Google actions or actionings if you need to kind of step forward, like if you're like, okay, well, I know this character's understanding, but maybe I need something. Is she retracting too? Is she bolstering? So just get creative with those action and action verbs. And you definitely want to think about any patterns that you see in this character. So you want to think about their specific behavior, because actions speak louder than words. So behavior is the manifestation of how that character feels. My last little nugget is that the performer must know much more than the character. So that's why you go through this process. Even though your character might be unaware of something, this character's not aware that someone's in love with them, or they're not aware that the wizard in Wicked, spoiler alert, isn't the best guy. So, the character doesn't know that, but the performer knows that, right? Because the performer has done this whole story type for every single song and knows their patterns and their attempts to repair things and as a character. So those are just a few little tidbits I have when you're stepping forward into musical theater song performance. and I asked two former colleagues of mine from Broadway if they would do a little nugget chat. And so I wanted to introduce my dear friend Satomi Hoffman from Broadway's The Phantom of the Opera, and my other incredible friend Jeff Crady from Broadway's Tootsie, on just something they really enjoy about musical theater. Take care.
Hello, my name is Satomi Hoffman with the Broadway cast of The Phantom of the Opera. We are all defined by the stories we choose to tell, and I would like to thank each one of you for coming out to support these amazing performers who will be telling our stories to future generations. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jeff Crady, and I am in tech rehearsal right now for Tootsie at the Marquis Theater in New York City. I'm a Broadway actor, and I love what I do. For this show, I'm standing by, which means I am understudying the role of Dorothy, of Michael, who transforms himself into Dorothy to get a job. So I'd say one of my biggest challenges right now is learning how to walk well in heels. But one thing that I really love about, especially working on Broadway, is you constantly get to work with people who are insanely talented and much more talented than I am, which is how I learn. Getting a chance to work with people who are just so amazing is a great way to learn and get better as a performer. So I'd say that's maybe my favorite thing about what I do. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi, and if you're in New York, come see Tootsie on Broadway.